Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Influenced by Kim. I'm your host, Hofi Kim Cohen-Myers, and today is going to be kind of part 2 from our last episode 16, called Sisterhood Energy, my first experience in 5D Kundalini activation and growing up hiding my spiritual gifts from the world. So this was all meant to be like one long podcast episode, but I broke it down into 2 to give you guys some time to regress and process everything I said in the first episode. And so in this one, I'm going to be talking about so much synchronicities, spiritual activation, my first Kundalini experience when someone is giving me Kundalini energy, which happened on the Cacao Ceremony, what a Cacao Ceremony is, how this is all coming full circle for me. Just like the beauty of sisterhood, all the things, epiphanies, downloads, future retreats that I'm going to create, and all the things. So without further ado, let's continue from exactly where we left off, which is this really cool idea that I had when I originally thought of moving to Miami. I felt like it was time to turn my brand, which my brand is my name. It's Hofi Kim Cohen. Through that, I've been able to branch off into, I started off with like Vanilla Sky Dreaming, and then it became like a personalized brand. Vanilla Sky Dreaming is my travel blog, and then it became so many different avenues. From Vanilla Sky Dreaming, which was my travel blog, I created literally an empire online. I created my personal brand, which is me in a nutshell. And through that, I created so many different courses and programs and ways of helping people outsource themselves in different ways, helping people make money online, teaching people how to become influencers, teaching people how to manifest money. I have so many courses teaching people like how to have the freedom lifestyle. So many courses, digital products, ebook on photography. I sold digital products. I did so many things with my brand. And I felt like before I moved to Miami, like this was the time to stop hiding and going back and forth with my spiritual, what do I want to call it? Like I just kind of talked about in the other episode where like I always hid my spiritual gifts and powers because I just didn't know. It just felt like too much. It felt like too much for like the outside world. I always kept it to myself, and I feel like this was like end of 2019, beginning of 2020, when I was trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to move to Miami and what am I going to do there? And I was trying to sketch out the entire vision of what my future looks like. I decided that like it is time to go public with my spiritual gifts, with my spiritual teaching to help people. And actually, it's like there's so many ways that I knew I could help the world, but I always just kept it to myself as a secret. And I was like, no, girl, this is the time. So this all ties in with the Cacao Ceremony and all the things. So here it goes. When I moved to Miami, this is so fascinating. I moved to Miami. I found a 3-bedroom apartment, penthouse, whatever. And to me, I did the math because I'm a numbers person. I don't speak fucking letters. I speak numbers and I speak energy. Those are my language. So the math was mathing up in my apartment complex building that renting a 2-bedroom and renting a 3-bedroom was the same exact price, because if you rented, at the time they had a special because the building was brand new. If you rented the 3-bedroom, you got 2 months free rent, which is insane. If you got the 2-bedroom, then they had an offer that you got a 1 month free. So I did the math of like how long my contract would be, and it ended up being the same exact money in the bigger picture. I think like it was like maybe $3,000 difference like for the year, or $4,000 difference like for the year, and I would get a bigger house and a bigger balcony and a bigger thing. And then what I thought was, okay, so one of the rooms is going to be my bedroom. And then the other room is going to be my office where I film YouTube videos and content for Instagram. And this was in 2020. I wanted to launch courses, which I did. But like I had this whole vision of what I was going to do in room 2. And in room 3, I thought I don't really need 3 rooms. So I'm going to turn the 3rd room into a money-making room in whatever capacity that is. And I'm very blocked off. I'm very protective. That's the word. I'm very protective of whoever comes to my fucking house. Like, I have a serious problem. I won't let anyone come into my house. I'm very protective over my house energy. And I feel like everyone should be, but I'm like kind of fucking crazy. I don't want anyone, not anyone. I don't want everyone. No, I'm trying to think of how to verbalize this. I don't allow anyone to come to my house. My door is not open for everyone. Like, I'm not. My mom is the type of person that hosts like 50 people for a holiday. My mom's door is always fucking open, not just to her kids, but like to anybody to come, to talk, to have coffee. Like, my mom is like the best host on planet Earth. And I'm just so introverted and I'm so not like that. And I don't like that. And for a long time, I try to be that, but I'm not that. I can't be that. I can't be anything but myself. I don't like people in my house that I don't like. No, like they have to have like pure energy, or they have to be like, I'm so particular over it. And it's something that I try to work on. But like now I'm like, no, like you did good, girl. Like I've just always been like that. Like I'm protective over the energy of where I live, because energy is everywhere. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed into something else. That's from Albert Einstein. And I don't want any energy in my house, because energy lingers and stays on. And as a high vibrational being, like I don't want that. So I don't let anybody sleep here. I don't let anybody visit here. But at the time, knowing that about myself in 2020, I was like, okay, what do I do in the other room to make money when I know that I don't want fucking people in my house that have bad energy, essentially. So one of the thoughts that I had is like, what if I turned it into a studio, like had a backdrop and made like, and essentially rented it to people that wanted to like shoot stills with like a backdrop, like maybe for like a clothing line, but like something small, right? Because I already have all the gear and I just know how to set that whole thing up, being like the content creator, influencer person that I am. And then I thought, you know what? It was or that, and it would be super part-time, and I would be super selective and like energy, feel people before they like, not anyone can book it. I'd have to feel their energy. I was trying to like welcome in like new energy. So I was like, I'm going to live in this Miami, and it's going to be a brand new place, because I lived most of my life in LA. This was before I moved to Miami. This is like, I was planning out like what was going to happen in this house. Little did I know that COVID was going to happen and ruin everything, right? Not ruin, but we get it. Like in theory, I had all these plans. And so, okay, so I'm going to rewind for a second. In 2018, I went through like a dark night of the soul. I went through a really dark stage and era on the other half of the year. I think I've talked about it in a different podcast episode, and if I haven't, then it will be released soon, because I record podcast episodes, but I don't release them in the order in which I record them. But I had 3 friends pass away in a tragic accident, and I died. A part of me died. It was very Scorpio energy. It was like death and rebirth. Like a part of me died, and then I was rebirthed into like a higher spiritual person. But I went through like a really dark phase and stage in 2018, like on the second half of the year. The first half of that year was amazing and magical, and I was manifesting psycho things. And then it just turned all dark, and so many bad things were happening. And it was a lot, and I went through a serious soul-searching journey. Wow, that's a really beautiful, the whole story. I have so many stories. That's a good story for a different day. But I went through like a serious spiritual awakening. And like from December, literally basically Christmas Eve on 2018, I went on a spiritual journey from that day on. And 2019 was like the most spiritual year of my life. And I was experimenting with so many different things. And that's when I did the 5D meditation, where I just told you guys that story. That's when I discovered Dr. Dispenza. I was having so much astral projection. I was tapping into brand new magical powers. And it all was activated by the fact that my friends died, and I was like leaning into them, and they were just sending me messages from the other side. Such a beautiful story in a year. I feel like I can write an entire book on that year. And the magic power is like the supernatural abilities that I discovered and the things that I went through. But I was exploring, so like in 2019, I like really got into crystals and tarot cards and like oracle cards and ceremonies and sound baths and meditations and going to like Cacao Ceremony. And I would go to like crystal stores and spiritual stores. And it's so funny how this is all coming full circle. So I had seen one of my friends go to this one store that was spiritual, had crystals and book and so many things in it. And I went there and I fell in love with the store. The store was like all the vibes. Have you ever like walked into a store and you're like, oh my God, I want to live here? Can I move here? I could spend hours here even though it's not that big. You're like, the energy is so right. I could just literally be here forever. Has that ever happened to you? Well, that's why I was vibing in the store. One of my favorite places in the world is Joshua Tree National Park. It's on the way to Palm Springs. It's one of the most spiritual places to me as a soul. I've had so many spiritual experiences there, and it's just like a mystical, spiritual place. Like, just generally speaking, a lot of people have spiritual, mystical experiences, supernatural experiences there. People see like UFOs there, ETs, like all the things. Well, I love Joshua Tree. It's been such a huge part of my healing journey. And with like my friends passing, and they had this like crazy backdrop. I don't even know what to call it. Is it like wallpaper backdrop that was like massive? And it felt like you were in Joshua Tree. Like, it was crazy. They had so many cool crystals, and just, I think it was overall the energy. And then I found out that they throw classes. They have events and classes. And so I always was like checking on Instagram for something new and exciting. And this is like right kind of before I moved to Miami. And then I found out that they had this Cacao Ceremony event. And I was like, ooh, what's that? I knew cacao was spiritual, but I didn't know much about cacao and like the essence of it and all the things. And I went ahead, it was an interesting experience. I don't like how cacao tastes. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't care for cacao, but I don't like chocolate. I don't like strong coffee. I don't like hot coffee. I don't care for cacao. I don't care for chocolate. I don't care for dark chocolate. I think it's all gross and disgusting. I would never take chocolate as a flavor anywhere. If there's like a milkshake or a place where there's like vanilla or chocolate, I'm a vanilla girl. I like vanilla. I like matcha. I like cold brie. I don't like things that are hot. It's just like it's such a different energy between the two. I feel like hot and chocolate and cacao, and like it seems like thick and heavy to me. And I like vanilla. I like cold drinks. I like my matcha, or like really not strong coffees. I don't like intense shit like that. Even though maybe because I'm such an intense person, right? I was just gonna say, it's funny. I like make myself laugh. I was gonna say, I don't know why, but it's so intense for me. And then I was like, well, it's because I'm a fucking intense ass human being. So maybe I just like can't have all the intensity. I just need things to be balanced on the light side. So the spiritual experience, so it was very similar to this event. The main difference is that the energy was completely different. Physically, it all looked the same. People showed up. And I'm always a creative soul. So like being in that space, I was like, wow, I can totally see myself hosting an event like this. Like, I can totally see myself hosting like a new moon ritual night of just journaling and beautiful music and sound baths and candles and meditation. Like, and I just like, there's a lot of times, okay, like I love to spend money in different ways. Everyone like does their own thing. Once upon a star, I used to just be insanely materialistic and spend my money on like clothes and jewelry and shoes and like those types of things. And then the older I got, my values and morals have changed. And so if you ask me, what do I spend the most money on as a human being? Here's are the things that I spend the most money on. Number one, my fucking health and food. I spend an obscene amount of money on food, on quality water. I have no limits to how far and fucking crazy I will go for my health and food. Like, if there's one thing, if I look at like my bank statements, that's food, like organic, clean food, which is not cheap. That's where I spend like a majority of my money, like an obscene amount of money on that. Like, it's actually crazy how much money I spend on like green juices and avocado toast and acai bowls and clean organic veggies at bougie as fuck. Like, like markets and farmers markets. And like, I'm crazy when it comes to my health, and I'm helpful. I'm like thankful that my husband is crazy like that too. We take a lot of pride into our health. And then anything that's spiritual, I will spend an obscene amount of money on. I spend crazy money on traveling. like staying in nice hotels, all the things. But I feel like life's changed. Like I used to do like a lot of sponsor, I used to work with a lot of tourism board, like as hotels and 5-star hotels and all the things, like as a travel blogger. But as the years went by, I'm kind of like, I don't want to deal with anybody. I just want to have fucking fun and sit in a nice hotel and not have to take pictures. Like I do take pictures and videos regardlessly, but like I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to feel like I'm here on a job. Like I just want to pay the money and like leave me the fuck alone. Let me post whatever I want. Like so like in the last 4 years, like that's kind of been the energy since COVID. That's been the energy. So I spent an obscene amount of money on luxury lifestyle, like the traveling, right? Like essentially it's not the traveling, it's like I spend like there's no limit. Okay, let's go back. There's no limit to how much money I'm willing to spend on food. It's just quality of life is the topic overall. It's not the bougie hotels, it's having like unique experiences. Like I invest money into experiences and nurturing my body. Like that's my thing. And that's where I choose to spend money. That's why our wedding was obscene out of a fucking movie, because I'm like that. And thankfully, again, Ben is like that, my husband. But like I will spend an obscene amount of money on experiences, once in a lifetime experiences. Also like on massages, but I do massages and things less. I do that like self-care stuff. And then of course, I should have said this earlier, no limit to how much money I'm willing to pay and the amount of money that I've paid for spiritual growth. So I did say spiritual stuff, but like also like mentorship, coaching, courses, anything to make me smarter, higher vibrational, make me just a better human being, like all the things. Like I have no limits. And then like on the other things, like on clothes and stuff, like I don't really care for as much as I used to once upon a star. But on those 4 components, which I guess 2 of them are kind of the same, like I will spend an obscene amount of money. And so one thing that I love doing too as a creative person is like I love exploring them just open. Like I will buy courses and buy them because I care. Sometimes it's because I care about what they're teaching. Sometimes I don't care about what they're teaching. Sometimes I just want to learn like their system. Sometimes I do experience things. So I'll pay to like experience something, knowing that I want to create something like it in the future, and I would like experience it like through different coaches and things to learn like different ways that people do it and then create something of my own. So in the cacao ceremony that I attended, I did it, like this was in 2019, but I also knew that like I wanted to host like spiritual events one day. And so I did the thing. It was cool, but it wasn't what I thought. And the girl that was hosting it, the place was amazing, but the girl that they had hosting it, I just felt like she had weird vibes. There was something very witchy, not high vibrational about her that kind of made me cringe, because like I said, I read energy. I don't care how you look. I read energy. Energy tells me everything. And there was just something that was just not aligned. Like, it was wild. It's like she dressed spiritual. Her hair was spiritual. Her jewelry was spiritual. What she was doing is spiritual. But her energy was saying, I'm not fucking spiritual at all. Like, that always mind fucks my brain. Like, that's like the 3D realm, right? Like, physically, she had all the things. But like spiritually, from a 5D perspective, it was just like not happening. It was just not there. It was not happening. It was not aligned. It was terrible. But it was a cool experience, but I didn't feel moved at all. But it was like, okay. And I don't even like cacao, but I was like, okay, cool. But it was cool to see how a tinier event like that would be hosted. And so when I moved to Miami, or before I moved to Miami, I thought, okay, for that extra room, what if I hosted maybe something like that, but maybe with my own twist, like a new moon ritual where I actually invited and hosted like high vibrational spiritual women in like a close proximity, a close like bond, like max like 12 girls. And I did this every single like new moon and maybe full moon, and maybe I could teach people manifestation, and I would like have them be in this like room and on the balcony. And I started to visualize the entire thing, because if I can't see it, then it's not real to me. Like if I can't feel it and see it, like I am a manifestor generator, so I just generate manifestations. So if I can't see it and feel it, it's like I can't. So I had to like see and like draw out the entire vision for myself. And I was like, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do. So I don't like random people's fucking energy in my house. But if I invite selectively high vibrational women to come, and I would host these beautiful events and just had like sisterhood and like soul-based experiences, like this would be so fucking profound. And so that I was like, that's the thing. That's what I'm going to do. That sounds better to me than the photo shoot idea. I mean, I still could do the photo shoot idea, but I'm like, this like actually has deeper meaning. And in my world, everything has to have a deeper meaning. Otherwise, I don't do it. I'm not interested. It's like, no, like it has to mean something to me. Otherwise, I can't. It's just everything I do. Like, I'm so intentional with everything that I do. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do there. And so I was like, but before I picked the 3-bedroom, it's like I had to know what I was doing in that room. Otherwise, I would have done the 2 bedrooms. So when I came with that idea, I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And so I took the 3-bedroom and then I moved to Miami. And then 2 weeks later, COVID happened. Everything was closed. Everyone was scared of fucking germs and COVID. I was not, which is funny because I'm normally such a germ freak. But like the whole thing was just, the whole COVID thing just seemed like so ridiculous to me and like a joke. And like propaganda on like such extreme levels that I was just like not buying it. I was not a mask girl. But I knew that people were scared and I was like, fuck. And I have a 3-bedroom and nothing ended up happening in that room, unfortunately for me. But that dream and that vision that I had lived on. Like it was such a fucking thing in my heart that I had to like, and I haven't done it yet. I haven't hosted one of these events and I really want to, and I know that I will. But it just wasn't like energetically aligned with the timing. But that dream, that like vision, that download, like I know that it was there for a reason. And so since then, living in Miami is actually a really spiritual place. It's kind of giving Tulum with fast-paced life, but also laid back. We have like a different balance here, but people in Miami are a lot more spiritual than I ever expected. And I feel like the type of spiritual beings here are very different than the ones that are in LA, the ones that go to Tulum, the ones that live in New York. Like, I feel like it's just a different energy. But there's a lot of healers in Miami. Lots of healers, lots of sound baths, lots of meditations, lots of people are really into yoga and Pilates and so many things. So coming full circle, I had gone to a friend's house and met another girl named Victoria, who owns this organic market. She's Argentinian. She owns this organic market where it's like organic, kosher, gluten-free, healthy store. It's called Bon Natural. It's in Aventura in Miami. And she told me, like, you have to come. And I always see her stories. I'm like, I'm going to come. And then she's like, hey, I'm actually hosting this event. It's called the Cacao Ceremony. And I was like, oh my God, like, yes, like sign me up. And it was actually free. And I can't even believe this was free because for the type of experience that I had, I would definitely pay like $500 for it. Like minimum 100, definitely 500, because what happened there was just so profound and out of this world. And I'm just so excited to even have people invite me to spiritual things because, like, again, like the girl that I grew up as, like, I had to hide my spiritual gifts. I had to hide my spiritual realm. Spirituality wasn't what it was, what it is today, what it is now. It's not like people were open about shit like this. And so I was really excited for this event. And so I said I was going to go, and then I said I was going to bring my friend Cecilia, who lives in my apartment complex that I recently met. And she's just a really beautiful soul. She's Latin, and my friends are Latin because you're in freaking like South America here in Miami. And I was like, this girl is going to love these people. Like, I just know who to match people up energetically with and who to introduce who and what. And so I didn't actually know what was going to full blown happen at this event. I just knew it was going to be a cacao ceremony. I was like, okay, I already know what that is. And so I'm going to tell you guys what it is now, if you never heard of it. Also, like Sedona, Arizona, they have really cool spiritual experiences such as this. I still really want to go back to Sedona and just experience so many different spiritual ceremonies and things. Also, Tulum has really cool ones. But I don't know if I'll ever be back in Tulum because I got so sick there last time I went. I got a parasite. It was terrible. I got like food poisoning parasite for like 6 weeks. It was insane. But nevertheless, there's so many spiritual experiences I want to do. So anyways, this is so wild. There was so much synchronicities that happen. It like blows my effing mind. Okay. So I thought I was going and I knew I was going and I RSVP'd and my friend Cecilia RSVP'd too. And I knew that this wasn't going to be a big event. Oh, originally I didn't know if it was going to be big or small, but Victoria is the most, first of all, visually, she's stunning, supermodel, natural, but her energy is just so beautiful. She's like the most feminine energy. I don't know, like top 5 people I've ever met with the most feminine energy. Like, she's just a walking goddess. Her energy, like being in her sphere, especially me as a masculine energy person that like more operates from her masculine energy, it's so calming and smoothing and such a good balance to be around someone that's so in her feminine energy. It's such a beautiful representation of that. I think the other person that I know that's like that is my friend Ivy. But I don't know a lot of women that are just so in their feminine energy, so in surrender. They just own their feminine energy. They're just so gentle. It's in their facial expressions. It's in the way that they move, the way that they talk, their eye, like it's such a beautiful thing to be around. Like it really is profound. I know that there's more people that think that they're feminine, but like this is different. This girl is like, oh, she's amazing. So she invites me to this event and I thought I was going this entire time. This was on Sunday, and Sunday morning, me and Ben go and run a bunch of errands, and on the way, all of a sudden, I don't feel good, which is something that happens to me. Like, I feel like I forgot to eat or something. My blood sugar dropped. Like, we were driving, we got lost. I felt nauseous, sick, lightheaded, like weird. And I was like, fuck, I don't know if I can go. But what do I do? I can't cancel. Like, she's counting on me. And then my other friend Cecilia's counting on me. And I have this rule, which I try to teach as many people as possible, where when you make a commitment to something, if I commit myself to something where someone is dependent on me, I'm never canceling. Unless I'm like dying, God forbid. If I said I was going to do something, if somebody invited me somewhere, a birthday party, an event, something to support them, I don't know, a holiday, a Shabbat dinner, if somebody took the time to think of me and of all the people that they know, I really honor that to the highest degree. I feel moved. I feel profound. I feel like it's meant to be. I feel like out of all the people in the world, they thought of me for whatever reason that is. Like, I don't know their circle. I don't know, like everyone's different, right? But like, I was invited, and I also trust God and the universe and how it all works in perfect synchronicity, and how everything happens for a reason. I so lean into that and believe in that like, I know that if I was invited to something, I go because I know I'm supposed to be there for whatever reason. I don't know the why. I won't know until I'm there, right? I might, maybe God or the universe is like putting me in this position to meet this one person that will connect me with this one thing, or like, that's always happened to me, almost always. But like, there is that aspect of it where I just trust, even if nothing happens. But like, I just trust that I'm supposed to be there because otherwise I wouldn't be invited. But I also have this other part that's like, I honor the selflessness, the thoughtfulness of a person inviting me. I have a lot of integrity in my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it no matter what. This is something I had to teach my husband because he was not like that. I don't care if we just got into a fight 3 minutes ago. If I promise somebody that I'm going, like, you fucking suck it up, get into the fucking car, we're going. I don't care that we don't both feel like it right now. Like, we're going. That happened in one scenario that I'm thinking specifically, where we got into a fight before my friend's birthday party. And I'm like, we're going because we promised them that we're going. And this is a really good friend of mine. And I don't care that you're fucking pissed right now or that I'm pissed. Like, get over it because we promised. Like, stand in a place of integrity, stand in a place, like, be a man of your word. I'm a woman of my word. Like, it's something that's very important to me to honor for myself and for others, because integrity, a rabbit hole in and of itself, could do a masterclass on it. It is so important to have like self-integrity and stand by your word, because if you don't, then you lose respect for yourself. And so if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I don't care if I don't feel good. I don't care what the fuck happens. Like 99% of the time, even though I might not feel like it, but I committed to it before, I'm going to go. But this time I was like, fuck, what do I do? What do I do? I really feel sick. Like I really fucking feel sick. And I was like, I have to tough it up. I have to figure it out. This was Super Bowl Sunday. I ate some stuff to raise my blood sugar. And then like we got home and I ate all this protein because I'm on this like metabolism reset thing. I ate all this protein. I ate all these things. And I was like, I can't cancel on her. And I also looked at the RSVP and I saw that in reality, only 7 people actually RSVP'd. A lot of people said maybe. And so when I thought of like potentially not going, I checked in how many people are supposed to come. And I was like, I can't do that to her. Like this person thought about this event. They planned this whole thing out. Like I can't disappoint. Like I would never want somebody to do that to me. And when someone's doing something good and they thought about, I can't disappoint because if I don't go, then my friend Cecilia doesn't go. And I'm so glad that I went because only 4 people ended up showing up. And like 2 of them were me and my friend Cecilia. So had we have not gone, I would have been so devastated that only 2 people showed up. Like that would make me sad because they set it up so lovely. Just look at my Instagram story highlights. It's called Miami 2 Part 2. It's all there. But this, wow. The girls set up this place so nicely. And so it turns out, oh my God, wait, hold on. I forgot like a really important part of the story. I'm always like, do I share? Do I not share? But like sometimes I get downloads from the universe and sometimes I don't want these podcast episodes to be too long, but like if I'm called to do something, I trust. So that's how I do life. I just trust the other side that tells me to do stuff. So let me rewind real quick and go back to Kundalini. And then I'll talk about what Cacao Ceremony is. And then I'll explain to you about this experience. So I'm always working on my energy. Like I told you guys, I invest a lot of money into my health, my energy, self-growth, my body, all the things. And there's always new things that I want to try. So I know that there is like healers in the world that do Kundalini activation on other people. They're people that are basically gifted. Everyone's gifted in different ways. Like I have supernatural abilities. I don't have all of them. I have certain things, right? But then there's other people that have other gifts that I don't have. And that's actually in my heart and in a perfect, beautiful world that's not run by elites and humans or just vibrating high. Like there's this whole thing about like new earth and 5D and the new earth, which is the future earth. Like in a perfect Garden of Eden world in my brain, like we are all healers. We're all healing each other. We all have different gifts. We're all like hippie, loving, everyone loves each other, everyone's healing each other, everything is shanti, bunty, happy, high vibrational. Like that's the perfect world that I would love to live in. Everything's natural, the food is natural, everything's natural. Unfortunately, we don't live in that society. There are places in the world, but there are different people that have different healing energy, and there are people that are healers with their energy, and like literally their specialty is just energy. Now, I understand energy. I know a lot about energy. A lot. I can make that my fucking career and explaining it to you in such degree and in depth. But then there's other people that are physical healers in energy. They do like Reiki. They do Kundalini energy activation. They activate your chakras. They do so many things to you. It's really crazy. They activate all of your chakras, your energy fields. They help you heal in this way. It actually heals you and prevents diseases and can heal diseases. It's fucking crazy and it's so fucking powerful. And they basically remove trauma and bad energy that's stuck in the body from certain traumas, right? Like somebody who might have had like a miscarriage or somebody who had like a traumatizing pregnancy or like a C-section, right? Or like someone who got into a car accident and has like injuries. Like a lot of times we have so much trauma in that area of our body. So let's say like the miscarriage or like a bad pregnancy, a bad birth, or like a C-section, right? It's like in the sacral chakra next to like your vagina organs, right? And so there's a lot of stagnant energy in this field. And so your body isn't flowing, the energy field in your body isn't flowing harmonically. And so the Kundalini activation healers will activate the energy and bring energy back to this place that's been so stagnant and like create movement in this energy where trauma has happened. High vibrational healing sounds hand gestures, all the things to create movement and healing in this field so that more energy can flow in this part of the body. And so that's like one of the things, right? But you can do this on all of your chakras, on different parts of your body. And so this is so fucking crazy and wild. Okay, so here's what's wild. The ceremony was on Sunday. Well, a few days prior, this is so crazy. Like, I went on Instagram and then I saw a video of someone doing Kundalini chakra energy healing to someone. It was like a really profound, crazy, wild video that I obviously sent to my best friend. I was like, whoa, that's so crazy. And then I looked at this person's account that's in Vegas. He's a healer. And I was like, oh my God, like, look at all the healing he's done. And I sat there and I watched video after video after video. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is amazing. I just see it. I feel it. He's located in Vegas. Do I go to Vegas? I want somebody to do like a healing Kundalini thing to me. Like, I want someone, like, I know how to do 5D to myself, but I would love someone who actually specializes in energy Kundalini healing to move my energy fields, to activate my energy fields, to move any stagnant energy that I can't reach or I don't know how to activate, right? Like, someone who actually specializes like this. I feel like it would be such a profound, cool spiritual experience for me. So immediately I'm like a go-getter taking action. I like go on his Instagram. So I'm watching his Instagram, watched a bunch of videos, followed him, went on his URL. I'm like, does he offer like virtual experiences? I look at his URL. I see he charges $122. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to do this. Not now, but like in 2 or 3 weeks. But I'm going to do this. And I was like already visualizing in my house, okay, where would I put the laptop so that he can do this? Because it had like these instructions, like it said like he can do it, but it had to have like a certain settings. You would have to essentially lay down on a bed and the computer would have to be in like a specific place. So I was like visualizing where this could be, how this could be. Like, I was like 100% I need this. So I sent it to my best friend at the time. My best friend is a dream interpreter, Elizabeth. And we just do all the day. We just talk about truth seeking and spiritual stuff. That's what we do. We're trying to like decode the codes of the world 24/7. So she's like, oh my God, this account's so cool. She went to sleep that night and she's like, the next day she woke up and she's like, hey, I had a dream that she didn't know that I was doing this visualization. This was so wild. She's like, I had this dream of you that you were lying in your bed and you had somebody do Kundalini energy on you and you did this and this and this and this and that. And I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy, because yesterday I actually looked up the guy's Instagram account and I was looking at him doing that for me. And she's like, yeah, like I see that's happening to you. It's gonna, like, you're gonna do Kundalini activation energy and it's gonna heal you. And she said like all these things and I was like, oh my God, tell me more. And we just left it as, right? I even told Ben that I wanted to do this. And then I just kind of moved on with life. And then a few days later, I go to this ceremony. And I have zero expectations. Like, I'm like, hey, we're just going to drink like cacao and just sit and do probably like a meditation, sound healing. Like, I didn't even know, right? Because it didn't give too much information on what was going to happen. And I walk in and I see my friend Victoria and I see her other friend Tati. And she's like, Tati is going to be hosting. Like, she's like, I'm hosting it, but Tati's going to be like running this. And she's a Kundalini healer. And I was like, what? Wait, what? All of a sudden, like, my energy flipped. I was like, wait, oh my God, like, what the heck? She's like, I've been looking for her. I've been looking, like, this is so crazy because I've never tapped into this. And all of a sudden it came to me this week. And now I'm like, wait, oh my God, there's actually there's like a Kundalini person, healer that I know that like is in Miami. Like, are you kidding? So I don't have to do this virtual thing. Like, she could come to my house. Like, what the heck? So I'm like thinking, okay, I'm going to hire her. If this goes well, I'm going to hire her. I don't know what she's going to do. I thought sound baths and just like host the ceremony. It's so wild. And I was like so like intrigued by this girl. Okay. Little did I know that she was actually going to do Kundalini healing energy on me for free. And I can't get over it. I almost paid that guy $122. Like, this is how beautiful manifestation gets to be. This is how beautiful the universe gets to be. This is how beautiful synchronistic moments gets to be. And it's so funny because when I walked in too, I brought my friend Cecilia, who has actually never done anything spiritual in her life. And I kind of thought that I I invited her. I feel like she would be into it, and she was so into it. But like, it's so crazy because like I'm like so spiritual and I've done so many of these things, and she's never done. And this was like such a brand new experience for her. And my friend Cecilia is a wedding photographer. And it's so crazy because Tati is getting married in April and she's been looking for a wedding photographer. It's just so crazy how the world works. It's so amazing. And like, what the heck? I can't even get over it. And then they talked. And then she's hiring her to be her like wedding photographer. And it's like, what the hell? Like the universe synchronistic moments are just profound and insane. And I just love that. I love how I knew to tell this one friend to come, and little did she know that over there was a job waiting for her. And oh my God, this is so crazy. I could just keep going on and on. And what's crazy, so she's going to hire her. She told me, my friend, that recently she's been struggling to find work. And she listened to my podcast episode, which I didn't even know that she was actually listening to my podcast. It was like blowing my mind. I was like, oh my God, like it made me like embarrassed and humbled and excited. I was like, what the heck? So she's like, I've been listening to your podcast episode about manifesting $10,000 in 5 days. And she's like, I listened to it and I was so into it. And then you invite me to this event. And then like, now you had helped me attract a job. Like what? It was like so like serendipity. Like the whole thing was so crazy, the energy field. And then like at the end, this was so fucking nuts, you guys. There were 2 other girls that were there too. They ended up leaving early, but it turned out that my friend Victoria is an Aries, and then I did not know that. And then my friend Cecilia is an Aries too, and I did not know that. And they were like, oh my God, Aries and Aries. And we're like, oh my God, fire sign. Now I'm the Leo. My birthday is August 12th. And I'm like, I asked Tati, because at the end we like talked for like 2 hours. I asked Tati, I was like, what sign are you? And she's like, Leo. And I was like, stop. So am I. And when's your birthday? She's like, August 11th. And I'm like, August 12th. And then it was like Leo, and Aries. And it was like fire sign, sisterhood energy. It was so crazy. Like the amount of synchronicities that happens in my life per day is crazy. August 11th is also my grandfather's birthday. And it's also my brother-in-law's birthday. So it was like the whole thing was crazy. But I love Earth. I love life. I love these moments. I love sisterhood. I love energy. I love how the universe and God just sets up these like profound, synchronistic, serendipitous moments. Now let's talk about the actual ceremony and how profound it was, because this was like life fucking changing to me. And I want to talk about the cacao. So cacao is very high vibrational, pure as fudge. I don't know what to call it. Not consistency, but it's a pure as fuck, potent element, I guess. I'm going to call it an element of earth. Like it's like an herb. It's an element. It's like all the things. It's something that essentially cacao. I've actually had cacao. How do I explain this? So cacao comes from an actual plant. I went to Dominican Republic many years ago. I went to a cacao farm. I went on this other tour. And so like our tour guide just pulled a cacao plant out of the tree. He opened it up. He made us eat the actual cacaos when they're like live and raw. It's actually, cacao is made out like cacao coffee. It's made out of like fruit. It's crazy. And when the cacao is like from a tree, it's white. You open the thing, it's white, and it's so sweet and it's so good. It's sweet and it's good, and it's like sweet like fruit. Like I'm trying to think. We don't really have these kinds of fruits in like America. You'd find these types of fruits, like the texture and the taste of it, more in like Thailand or like Asia. I don't know if you know this, but like different countries in the world have different fruits that like other countries don't have. So in Thailand or in Asia, they have like so many different fruits that like people in America have never seen in their life, and like vice versa, right? And then like the Caribbeans has different fruits that like Asian people never seen, right? It's like this world is amazing and beautiful in these ways. But cacao like originated, cacao ceremonies, they originated from like the indigenous people, which are basically, if you don't know what indigenous people are, they're like the people, God, what do I want to call them? The people of the earth? That's like not the right way, but like Native Americans and Indians and the Mayans and like the Aztecs and like these tribes back in the day that used to sit around the fire and have meditations, and there would be like a chief and like I mean, they still do exist. There's like villages that have them. They're tribes. Indigenous people are people that live off of the land. They're like what you would call an American Indian, right? They're like people. I think of Tiger Lily when I think of American Indians for some reason. I'm not trying to offend anybody. That's just like where my brain goes. Like I just go into my child and I think of Peter Pan and Tiger Lily because I love Peter Pan. But like, you know, the indigenous people, they still exist all over the world. There's tribes. They live out in nature. They live off of the land. They're very overprotective over, they have like very sacred energy, and they don't live in like our world, you know, they don't live with like electricity and all the things. They live by, I love that. I fucking love that. Like, I wish I could just move to a place like I know that's crazy and you would never think that, but like, that's what my heart really wants. Like, I would love to live in Costa Rica in a safe, like, environment in the fucking villages of like, I don't know what, as long as there's no like death threat. But I just love what they do, the indigenous people. And, you know, they hunt and they live off of the land. And so cacao is, the process of creating cacao is like a whole spiritual journey. You pray on the cacao, you roast it, you take the plant. There's like so many different roles. It's a very sacred thing for the indigenous people, and that's where like the cacao ceremony originates from. And it's very high vibrational. It's used for different things. So it's used typically to maybe get like the women of the village to sit around in a circle, and like they would have a cacao ceremony and they would talk openly, like in a women community group energy of just being together in the collective consciousness, hearing each other out, vibing off of the same vibrational frequencies. Or you would have like a tribe, like you have like the family, and they do a cacao ceremony to bring the family together, and they essentially make cacao, and everyone like sets intentions and they pray on it, and they make it with so much intentions because you are what you eat. You can drink water. I bless my water all the time, but you can do this with anything, your food, your water, right? And whatever you eat, you become. And so it's really important to set intention. And that's what you're actually doing in a cacao ceremony. There's so much love that is put in the cacao and creating it. And, you know, even when you grab it, it's like very sacred of energy. This happened to me, and that's what happens in a cacao ceremony. But this also happens from the indigenous people, and people still do this in Mexico and Peru and like just different places around the world. Like there's tribes in Brazil. There's tribes that still do this stuff. And so you bring people together, and you have the whole like concept behind it is having like an open heart, open coherenceness, being like high vibrational, like learning, listening to one another, being in a soul-based place. It's like something that opens like your chakras. Like there's so many things that I can say about a cacao ceremony when done correctly with the right amount of people, with good intentions. I was also told that like a lot of times too, like there'll be like a family and they do their cacao ceremony, but then like they're marrying their daughter off to a different family. And so let's say like the bride's parents will invite the family into a cacao ceremony to bring their energy together as oneness in a family setting. Does that make sense? It's very beautiful. I love these types of things. I live for it. So in essence, it's very high vibrational, all of this. And you want to do with high vibrational people, which is why my original experience with this was not that great, because the girl was on high vibrational and the energy was just not right. Even though I love the place and I love the people that attended, it was just not the same. But let me tell you, wow, what happened on Sunday was so fucking high vibrational, elevating. I'm so glad not a lot of people came. I'm so glad it was like the 6 of us. Okay, so it was my friend Victoria, Tati, the Kundalini energy healer, my friend Cecilia, and then 2 other people that like shop at the store, and they just love. I'm like, I already saw everything. I'm like, I'm gonna have a retreat, and Tati is gonna be hosting the Kundalini part of this, and like I already saw everything in my mind because it was so healing. And so we originally went around and we talked, you know, we said who we are and what we're here and like the intention that we had. And then we were past the cacao after she also cleared, she did, what is it called? Sage on us, cleared our energy field. We prayed, we meditated, we cleansed the energy of the room. And then we were given the cacao. in little cups, and we all held it in our hands, and we set intentions about like where we want to be elevated, or a part of our life that we want to feel more open to, because cacao essentially opens your heart. So if there's a part of you that, my hand's like literally on my heart right now, a part of you that you feel like is blocked or closed, this is going to open that field. So if you feel like you're struggling with a relationship with your dad or something, you're blocked off to money, or you're having self-esteem issues, or you're having a problem with fertility, or whatever it is that's going on in your world and in your sphere, set intention. So you hold the cup with both of your hands, you set intention, you close your eyes, you say, I would love to be open when it comes to this specific thing. We all pray together. It was so powerful, like sisterhood to the highest degree, you guys. It was like something out of the movie that I've never felt before. All of this was so, everyone had such beautiful, pure intentions and heart coherenceness. And then we drank it. So then it's like you get it, like, because it opens your heart in that field where you feel blocked. And then we all laid down. And then this is the part where I was like, I found out that we're doing Kundalini. So she's like, I'm going to work on you guys' energy. If you don't want to be touched, tell me. If you want me to do healing on you, like I will. And I was like, please, please, please. Oh my God, I can't believe I volunteer as tribute. Please do healing. Do all the things on me. And essentially, I can't even explain. Like you guys don't even know. You don't even know. First of all, there were like these powerful tracks that I've never heard in my entire life. I didn't even know things like this, because I still have like parts of the songs in my head. They were high vibrational music with these women's voices. There were different tracks, and every track had a different message. Like the first track, let's say, was about like being open and release, like be open to receiving, be open to receiving. The next one was about like protecting your energy. And the next track was about like healing this part of you that you've been blocked off, that you've been closing because you've been hurt. And the next part was like love. And like there were all these different tracks, and there were different sounds on the tracks. It was so beautiful, high vibrational, very like tribe-y. Like I don't even know how to explain it. They were like, I need the CD of this, whatever the heck this was. I've never heard anything like it. There were sentences that were being said in this beautiful, beautiful voices. And then the girls, so Victoria and Tati, they all had different roles. They had different sound. There was sound bowls. And so you're lying on your back with your hands on the side. You're relaxing. You're listening to the meditation music, or like the whatever is happening. And you're just surrendering, and you're just receiving healing. You're receiving healing, high vibrational energy from these two healers. And they're walking around with different instruments from different tribes, like sound baths, different tribal sounds that are healing to your chakras, that just relax you, that open up your field, that cleanse you. There were so many things happening. And then they were walking around with this, they had this speaker, and you were just like lying with your eyes closed, and the sounds, I don't even know how to explain all of this. This was so profound, but like, it's like they kept moving the speaker from like through the girls that were laying down and doing the meditation. And like, it just, you hear like there was a different track calling back your energy. And so you hear it on like your left side, and it's like, come back to me, come back to me. And then it like, the sound, like they take the speaker and they go to the different part of the room, and like, it's like your ears are listening to all of this, and you're getting all these visualizations and downloads. Oh my God, that come back to me. Wow. Oh my God, you guys, I can't even. Anyways, listen, I was so excited about this. And I want to say this. I've seen people have Kundalini done to them, and it looks like, a lot of times when you see videos of this, it looks like someone's having an exorcist removed. People have body compulsions. People cry, people scream, people start shaking. Different things happen to different people, because essentially there's certain energy points in their body that have been blocked. Some people for years, some people their entire life, because there's been like a trauma that happened when they're little or whatever, right? And so they've been blocking this field, and all of a sudden the Kundalini healers, they activate this area that's been blocked off, that no energy has been going to, that's just been stagnant. And all of a sudden it's feeling energy that it's never felt before. And it's like all of this is a healing thing. It was so healing to me. And so you don't really know how you're going to react. And I was like, please don't make me be one of those people that like screams or like has spasm and like is so embarrassing. I will let my body do what it's supposed to do, because healing just comes in so many different formats. And I guess like if you ever seen people have ayahuasca experiences, right? They're like purging. Some people throw up, some people have compulsions, some people are crying, some people are laughing. Like healing is such a roller coaster of emotions. I always did wonder though, because they're activating these early, I was like, am I going to be one of those people that spazzes out and like my head's going to come forward when she like touches my chakras, or like is my heart going to like, I don't even know. I guess this needs to be a video in order for me to explain to you guys, but you could also look up on wherever social media platform like Kundalini healing experiences, like to see how it looks. It's really wild. I know what chakras of mine that are most activated versus ones that are least. I know which are my strongest chakras, which are my least strong chakras. My chakras are always working. They're always moving. Energy is always flowing to me, but I always know like where, and no one's chakras are perfect, right? Like that's why people do meditations. When you do meditations, it aligns all of your chakras. But the thing about it is that different things block off our chakras. We're always moving energy, but everyone has chakras that they're operating most from out of the 7 chakras, which chakras are energy fields. And then there's one that they're operating least from, and they need like more nurturing in this field. And I know mine. Okay. So I know my body, I know my things. And I didn't know what was going to happen. But Tati came to me and my eyes were closed. She started activating my energy in my body. And like my eyes are closed, but I know exactly where she is touching or where she's focusing on. It's so wild. Like that's the beauty of being like super in tuned and high vibrational. You just get downloads and you know things and you feel things with your eyes closed. And I felt the energy in my body moving and activating. Some people might not feel anything. It just really depends on like how in touch you are with your body. But nevertheless, for me, the way that it manifested into me, so I feel like healing is always like, I feel like crying I don't feel like crying is bad. Growing up, I was told that crying is bad. I actually don't feel like it is. I think it's so healthy. Could talk about that on a different day, but crying is super healthy and healing. It's literally removing certain things out of your body. And so for me, this is like the Kundalini thing. It's like a healing ceremony. And so is like what is it called? The cacao. The cacao is also a healing ceremony. Kundalini energy, moving energy, energy activators. It's all healing. And we all need healing. I don't care who the fudge you are. There's always places and things, the traumas and things that we go through. We need to be constantly activated. So for me, she kept going and doing different things to me, and then going to a different girl, and then going to a different girl, and then coming back and doing just different setups and different things. Like it's an energy thing. It's hard to explain. But I started crying like crazy. Like for 30 minutes, my eyes started crying. I started to cry. Tears were going in my ears because I couldn't stop fucking crying. It was ridiculous and embarrassing. I did not even expect that. It was like embarrassing, but it's not, because I know that it's healing. I know that's what my body is purging or healing or activating or releasing, right? It was what she was doing, but it was also the music and the sounds and the energy of the women, the beautiful balance between the feminine and the masculine energy. The combination of those two women were just profound. And I just started crying. I wasn't crying sad tears. I was crying gratitude tears, open heart coherences tears. There was a part about healing from anybody that hurt you. And then I thought about like my wedding, because there were like a lot of people that disappointed me that I thought were going to come. So many different things that happened in my wedding, like pre-wedding, that like hurt me a lot. And I've been like holding on to certain things, and I was like crying and releasing that. So there was like, that wasn't sad. It was just like releasing, but I was crying so much. I was so inspired and grateful and crying and purging like all this stuff. And like, it was, but there was a time where my back started to like spasm a little bit, and like kind of, it's like as though someone was like behind me, pushing me forward a little bit. I was like, oh my God, I'm one of these people. Not full blown, but I was like, this is so fucking wild and powerful. This was so powerful. It was so healing. And let me tell you something, you guys. whenever you go to yoga and they tell you close your eyes, take a deep breath, I do that. I do it. But I'm always the girl that never fully closes my eyes because I don't fucking trust anybody and anything. And I'm always questioning things, and I'm always looking to make sure that I'm safe, like who's around me, what's happening. Like, I don't trust. So in meditations, I'm always in betweens, opening my eyes. Like I'm really good at tapping into the meditation and tapping out for a split second to make sure I'm safe, and then I go back in. But normally they like close your eyes. I'm always the one that opens my eyes. Whenever there's like yoga or meditations, I'm normally the first one to just get up, to sit up. Like, they're like, okay, now slowly open your eyes and get up whenever you want. I'm normally like, boom, jump. Like, yes, I'm ready. Like, let's go. I never take my time. I feel like whenever I've ever taken my time, I'm like faking it because I don't need time. I'm just awake. But oh my God, dude, when the meditation was over, I tried to stand up like I normally would. I couldn't move. I couldn't move, you guys. I couldn't move. I tried to like get up and I couldn't move. That's never happened to me. So I didn't open my eyes almost the entire meditation and the healing ceremony, and I couldn't get up. Like, this woman like really balanced my energy fields to the point where like my thighs were vibrating and my hands were, and I was like trying to bend my knees and like lift myself up from my stomach, and like I literally couldn't. And I tried again and I couldn't. And then I had to like roll myself over like a burrito and like roll on my stomach and like slowly sit up. It was so bizarre. No one's ever had that kind of influence on me. Anyways, I cried my life off. It was so healing. Sometimes we forget the things that we have to do for our soul and for our body, and the things that we have to do after traumatic experiences. The healing, the movement, the heartache, let's reverse that. The heartache, the trauma, the healing that comes within. And like, there's so many different ways to heal. And I'm such a high advocate for trying a new healing mechanism. If you've always done meditation, like try a Kundalini energy activation, try a Cacao Ceremony. If you did one and you don't like it, try it again. Try sound bath. There's so many different healing mechanisms. And that's actually like real medicine. Okay, real medicine is not going to the fucking hospital and hanging out with big pharma and swallowing a bunch of fucking pills and that actually don't do anything. They're just numbing your pain, sending brain, like in America and in most medicine, like no one's actually curing you. They're just giving you medicine for the symptoms that you have, but no one actually knows how to activate and clear and heal your body. And this is why I love this type of work, because healing shouldn't be that. And like, we actually, as women, we had a collective conversation about that. That's not what healing is. Healing is not CVS. It's not Rite Aid. It's not Walgreens. It's not in Big Pharma. It's not on these no, healing is food. Healing is tea ceremonies. Healing is matcha. Healing is cacao ceremonies. Healing is yoga. Healing is breath work. It's Kundalini. It's meditation. It's family. It's nature. That's like real healing. That's the real doctor. Like that needs to happen. A lot of times we just forget because the 3D world just takes over us. And, sometimes there's times in my life where I'm more spiritual. And then there's other time in my life where I'm less spiritual, because just, there's different, you're always changing. There's different things that are activating you at certain timelines. But it's so important to go back to source. It's so important to connect yourself to God, to the universe, to your ancestors, to your higher self, to try new things, to search what's happening in your city, to be open to receiving, to attracting new opportunities, healing opportunities, to becoming part of communities, to creating communities that are like this, because it's so healing. I seriously felt like we were all sisterhood. I love every single one of these women. This experience was so profoundly healing for me. I kept telling myself, like, I'm open to receiving. I want to receive healing energy. And remember, we had an episode talking about like sometimes how we're blocked off to receiving I have an episode on that, how the universe wants to give you everything you've ever wanted. You should listen to that podcast episode. But it's like, I sometimes struggle with receiving because I'm such a giver that I struggle with receiving. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I could do it. Sometimes I struggle with it. And so I kept being open to receiving her healing and her powers and her energy. I obviously vet all my, I don't let anybody touch me like we talked about before. And so it was really crazy and wild because, like I said, like it's kind of, it came like a full circle for me because I wanted to do whatever my friends did. That ceremony is like this type of things that I wanted to create here in Miami. It's a type of experiences that I wanted to have at my house after my first cacao ceremony experience. It's so wild how life just like comes full circle at you. And it's really interesting too, because the last few weeks I've been thinking that I want to create a retreat for women, obviously hosted by myself. And I've been doing a lot of soul searching, brainstorming on how I want it to be and how I want it to look and feel and what it's going to be like and what it's going to be and all the things. And it's like, those girls are coming. Like they're going to be part of the healing retreat ceremony, a thing. Like, yeah, it's wild. Like, if I once thought that it was going to be this like small thing in my house, God didn't let it work, because it was actually, I have like bigger visions for myself and for how many people I want to heal and how I want to like transform the world. And it's like, it didn't work out in my house because it was actually supposed to happen on a massive, bigger scale than that. And experiencing this healing, powerful journey just reminded me again and how much I do need to step into that, how healing that was, how I fucking love Kundalini. I really wanted to record this podcast episode the night of to share like full, authentic, open heart coherenceness of like how I actually felt, because I was like through the moon. And I remember leaving all these messages to my best friend Elizabeth, and she's like, oh my God, you sound so happy. You sound so healed. And I felt so healed. I got downloads in my meditation. I saw visions of things. It was so high vibrational. I've never been to a Dr. Joe Dispenza seminar, but there was like definitely a part in this where I was like, this definitely happens in his seminars, like for sure. Like this is what I visualize for his seminars and workshops. It was really profound. I highly recommend you find this or you look into this somewhere around. And I just kind of wanted to share my experience and my journey and all the things. I would have loved somebody to do this for me like many years ago and tell me that there's things like this that existed. So I just want to share the love and the experience. I think it's profound and inspiring. And I hope that you liked this podcast episode, loved this podcast episode. And I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. If you have any questions, you could always ask me on Instagram. If you're interested in the retreat, my future retreat that I am going to host, let me know as well. And I love you guys. And I'm sending everyone such a beautiful, healing, magical energy. Yeah, find your people, stand in a place of power, explore yourself, explore your energy, create communities, sisterhood, like so important. My girlfriends are going to have more events like this, and I'm really excited. And I'm going to have events like bigger events. And if you're interested in that as well, let me know. I love you guys. Have a great day.